today in the media conference with Lal Goel, which is brought to you by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV India, News Gaon se, Samvad Sarokar News, Bharat Post News, Organ Donation India Foundation and Gyan. Our endeavor is to bring to you every day a new topic. And today our topic is how to become employable. Employability is related to work and the ability to employ it. Having a degree already puts you at a great advantage when it comes to looking for jobs. Being able to prove that you can complete a challenging academic qualification is likely to put you in an employer's good books. But when it gets around to getting your first graduate job, you might struggle if you rely on just your degree being enough to wow the employer. Employability is the quality of being suitable for paid work. Employability is related to work and the ability to be employed, such as the ability to gain initial employment, hence the interest in ensuring that the key competencies, career advices, and an understanding about the world of work are embedded in the education system. The ability to maintain employment and make transitions between jobs and roles within the same organization to meet new job requirements. The ability to obtain new employment if required, that is to be independent in the labor market by being willing and able to manage their own employment transitions between and within organizations. The continuously fulfilling, acquiring or creating of work through the optimal use of efforts. Lee Harvey defines employability as the ability of a graduate to get a satisfying job, stating that job acquisition should not be prioritized over preparedness for employment to avoid pseudo measure of individual employability. Lee argues that employability is not a set of skills, but a range of experiences and attributes developed through higher level learnings. Thus, employability is not a product, but a process of learning. Employability continues to develop because the graduate, once employed, does not stop learning, that is continuous learning. Thus, employability by this definition is about learning, not least learning how to learn, and it is about empowering learners as critical reflective citizens. Harvey's definition is important for it emphasizes the employability of graduate, hence able to provide insight about how to measure graduates' employability and what are the differences between graduates and experienced individuals in the labor market. There are numerous terms for employability skills. They are often used interchangeable with terms such as soft skills, generic skills, 21st century skills, generic attributes, transferable skills, generic competencies, and holistic competencies. Chan at the University of Hong Kong uses holistic competencies as an umbrella term inclusive of different types of generic skills. For example, critical thinking, problem-solving skills, positive values, attitudes, resilience, appreciation for others, which are essential for students' lifelong learning and whole person development. In order to understand how holistic competencies should be developed based on student perception, the Holistic Competency Development Framework, SCDF, was developed. The SCDF consists of 5 key components that are fundamental to holistic competency development: student characteristics, rationale for learning, students' actual learning experience and perceptions and interpretations based on that experience, students' approaches to developing holistic competency, and students' development of holistic competency as outcomes. The SCDF is an adaptation of BIC's 3P: purpose, process, and performance. Student approach to learn model. Chan realized that traditional learning process such as the 3P model do not apply to soft skills development because students who are deep learners in the academic context do not necessarily become deep learners in the soft skills education. Thus, the word deep and surface with respect to academic knowledge are unsuitable in the soft skills context. Accordingly, a new term was coined, approach to develop, for conceptualizing students' engagement in experiential learning, leading to the development of holistic competencies. Unlike academic knowledge, holistic competencies must be developed by experience. Leadership skills cannot be learned by reading a book. The learner must have opportunities to observe and experience what leadership is. Hence, the word learn could be used to describe academic knowledge acquisitions, whilst develop is preferable for describing holistic competency education. Validated instruments for assessing students' holistic competencies awareness have been developed. Although the assessment literacy of competency for both teachers and students remains challenging. Brandstone Brandson argues that employability refers to an individual's perception of his or her possibilities of getting new, equal, or better employment. Brandson's study differentiates employability into two main categories: actual employability, that is objective employability, and perceived employability, that is subjective employability. Research into employability is not a single cohesive body work. Employability is investigated in the fields of industrial and organizational psychology, career development, industrial sociology, and the sociology of education, among others. Several employability definitions have been developed based on or including input from business and industry. In the United States, an employability skills framework was developed through a collaboration of employers, educators, human resource associations, and labor market associations. This framework states employability skills are general skills that are necessary for success in the labor market at all employment levels and in all sectors. After conducting research with employers across Canada, the Conference Board of Canada released Employability Skills 2000 plus, which defines employability as the skills you need to enter, stay in, and progress in the world of work. Saunders and Goel found that employers valued personal qualities such as dependability and enthusiasm over subject knowledge and ability to negotiate. Less than half of the Indian graduates are employable, reveals the 8th edition of the India Skills Report ISR released recently. In 2021, as many as 45.9% of graduates are employable. It declined from 46.21% in 2020 and 47.38% in 2019, reveals the report. MCA graduates are the least in terms of employability, as only 22.42% of them are employable, followed by a polytechnic at 25.02%. In contrast to the common belief, it is the B.Tech graduates who are most employable with 46.82%, followed closely by MBAs at 46.59%, states the report. The report shows that women are more employable than men. However, despite women being more hireable, it is the men who secure most jobs. On average, 64% of all professionals are men, while only 36% of workforce are women in India, as per the report. The intent was at 15% in 2019, down to 10% in 2020, and currently stands at 19% in 2021, as per the report. This year, the hiring is expected to be the most in the BFSI, software, hardware, and IT and internet business. The report pointed out that the most employable candidate as per the courses were MBA students at 54%, as against 40% in the last 2 years. B.Pharm, Polytechnic, B.Com, and BA courses, on the other hand, saw an improvement in employability, which is increased by more than 15%. However, a decline in employability was seen in B.Tech engineering, MCA graduates, technical and computer-related courses. Among the states, Maharashtra, followed by Tamil Nadu and Uttar Pradesh, were ranked among the top three in terms of employability, while Mumbai, followed by Hyderabad, were ranked the top two employable cities. Bengaluru, New Delhi, Pune, Lucknow, and Chennai have maintained their presence in the top 10 over the last 6 years. States that registered a dip in ranking were West Bengal and Haryana, which could not make it to the top 10 list, the reports added. Prime Minister Honorable Mr. Modi's vision of India becoming a $5 trillion economy requires increasing the per capita income of Indians, which can happen only when people get employment, which consequently demands the skill and useful talent. To achieve that, along with the universities and colleges in India, various emerging startups are already using innovative technologies to facilitate skill up graduation, job creation, internships, and workforce management on their platform. And to discuss this very, very important topic, very relevant topic, is how to become employable. We have a very elite panel with us, very knowledgeable, those who are authority in their field. Panelists are with us, and I would like to invite my first panelist guest, and he's Professor Dr. R. Gopal. Professor Dr. R. Gopal is the director and head of the Department of D.Y. Patil University. He's the former dean, D.Y. Patil University School of Management. He is basically an engineer from IIT Kharagpur in mechanical engineering. He is also MBA, ICWA, PhD, and postdoctoral research degree DLIT. He is also the member board of management of the Ajinkya D.Y. Patil University. He has more than 27 years of corporate experience with Bush India Limited, Larsen & Toubro, Tata Economic Consultancy Services, and Siemens. Additionally, he has more than 30 years of teaching experience in various B schools in and around Mumbai in the areas of marketing, finance, and general management, etc. He was the visiting faculty in several business schools in USA. In the USA, he has conducted several programs on the topics like how to do business in India. He has also published more than 200 research papers, both in Indian and foreign journals of repute. He has been awarded the Best Outstanding Research Paper at Asia Pacific Marketing Conference held in Malaysia. He is also a reviewer to several international journals having a high impact factor. He is the guide for MPhil and PhD students of several universities in India. More than 100 research scholars have received their PhD and MPhil degree under his guidance. He is also the author of several books and is the chief editor to several national and international journals of repute. Dr. R. Gopal is the recipient of several national and international awards, few of which I can mention because if I will read the entire list, the whole my program will go in that. They are Rashtriya Vidya Saraswati Puruskar, Rashtriya Vikas Ratan Award, Glory of India Award, Rajiv Gandhi Education Excellence Award, Best Teacher Award, Best Management Teacher Award, Education Award, Star of Asia Award, and many, many more. Welcome, Professor Dr. R. Gopal on our show. Professor Dr. R. Gopal, you are not only associated with business school, but you have worked with the corporates and you have seen the condition of employability not only in India, but abroad. And you know very well, very closely that how the corporates are employing the person or the candidates. And so how anyone can become employable, you know better than anyone else. So we would like to know your views on how to become employable. Professor Dr. R. Gopal, please. Professor, please unmute yourself.
Sorry. Thank you, Lal Saab. Good morning to you. Good morning to Dr. Gnaneshwar Pai. And good morning to Mr. Puneet Jaiswal also. The topic for the day is very, very interesting, important and relevant. And it is important not only from today's context, but also from the future. The question is how to become employable. In my opinion, nobody but the student himself, I'm repeating again, the student himself or herself has to work so as to become employable. Nobody else can do it for him. He has to upgrade himself. He has to develop himself. What everybody can do is to only help him. And here, when I'm talking of employability, we mean working for others, working in the corporates, and we are not referring to entrepreneurs at all, because their needs are totally different. And why do I say this? It's very important to understand. According to CMI data, in July 2021, their unemployment rate was about 7%. Well, as on 15th August 2021, the unemployment rate increased to 7.5%, with urban rate increasing to 9.1% and the rural rate increasing to around 8%. Overall, around 20 million job losses were reported. But the brightest part of the whole thing is that the employment index, not the unemployment, the employment index increased in sectors like e-commerce, pharma, biotechnology, banking, insurance, etc. And as you rightly pointed out, various studies have indicated that in the case of higher education institutes, the unemployment rate is very, very high, almost to the tune of 60 to 70%. Discussion with the HR of large companies, pan India, indicated that the unemployment rate is high because of a mismatch between the skills required by the corporates and the skills available to the students or the potential candidates. And here I'm using the words students and potential candidates interchangeably. Now, before we say how to make the students employable, let us find out what the corporate demands are. And it's very important to understand this because a student is, after all, a product. And the corporates want that product for their use. And as we say in marketing, a customer will buy a product only when the product satisfies his needs. And therefore, the first step is to find out what the needs of the customer are or what are the demands of the customer. Corporate demand that the employee should contribute from day one. They demand that the customer should be, that the product should be sincere, open, and transparent. He should be able to understand people. He should have extrovert characteristics. That means he should be able to move and talk to everybody. He should demonstrate a habit of giving and have a very, very strong sense. I'm repeating again, a very, very strong sense of listening. More important, he should be able to communicate. And this communication, corporates are saying, in today's world, it has to be a good English and a good written as well as verbal English, and a good presentation should be required. I have been in the US and I've been talking to a large number of people. And they say the problem with all Indians is that you do not have a problem-solving attitude or a critical thinking. You only tend to blame others for everything. In fact, in my university, I have made a rule that nobody will come to me with just a problem. He has to come to me with a problem plus solution. Whether I accept the solution or not is a different matter, but he has to come to me with a problem and a problem plus solution. He should be resilient. That means he should accept failures because many a times the decision may not be taken at all. And he should have a good negotiating skills. And more importantly, very, very important, he should have a very positive attitude and demonstrate honesty and leadership qualities. In addition to this, corporates say that you must have fundamental knowledge, application knowledge, And you should demonstrate that you have been keeping updated with your technology. And how do you demonstrate this? You demonstrate this by undergoing certain certification programs. In the US, in India, I checked with many HR guys and I asked them, how can you evaluate all this? And they said the maximum evaluation time that we can give is about half an hour to about, let's say, 3/4 of 45 minutes. And in that 45 minutes, we can find out all of these characters which we are looking out for. Now, if that is what is important, then question is, how can we help students to become employable? I'm repeating again, how can we help as institutions, as corporates, to make students employable so that they develop those skills which are required? And let me warn again that the student has to develop the skills. We can only take the student to the pond, but how much to drink, what to drink, is all dependent on the student himself. Let me first come to the corporates. What can the corporates do to make the student or the potential employees employable? And I would refer more to the interaction between the corporate and the institutions, educational institutions. Contribute to the application knowledge by visiting the institution as a guest lecturer. Visit the institution for a period of 3 to 4 hours, say maybe once in 15 days, once in 20 days, where you share the knowledge which you have in the organization. And this is very important. Contribute to enlightenment lectures. What do I mean by enlightenment lectures? Such lectures basically on being happy, being skilled, etc., etc. And they can do it through a virtual classroom method also. Areas like women empowerment, areas like women's health, these are very critical. Help an organization one-day industrial visit. With the help of the corporates, institution can start innovative and niche industry-based. For example, corporates can start courses in MBA in biotech, MBA in pharmaceutical, MBA in international business, MBA in innovative management, etc., etc. So many things can be happened. Participate in seminars and conferences by way of sponsorship or providing speakers. Help in holistic development by providing faculties through counseling lectures or ethical working. Very, very important. Research is a very key area. And in the US, there is a very good interaction between institutions and industry. And in fact, industry contributes to the educational institutes through the formation of chairs. And therefore, you'll find so-and-so chair of marketing. But in India, we rarely find this. And if at all we find this, we find it only in the central universities. Help in creating centers of excellence through incubation centers, etc. Members of the corporate can also become board members or governing board members or academic council members, where they can be of use to the institution and to the institute and to the students. But the most important question to me is, I'm repeating again, is the corporate willing to come to help? Many a times I find that these HR guys and these corporates keep on saying that students are not employable. And then I say, why don't you come as a visiting faculty? There is a payment for you. No, do not as big as the education, as the corporates, but a small token money is given to you so that we respect and value your time. And my own experience tells me that the corporates find it very difficult to keep up to the promised time. Give you a very simple example, sir. Just last week, for the last 1 month, I've been telling one of the industry people to come and give a lecture on project finance. And believe me, on Thursday, I get information that she is very busy and she cannot come in. And then immediately we have to change everything and get somebody else. And this is something which is really, really difficult at the last moment. Corporates and industry and education can tie up through an MOU, and this is very important. We must make an MOU, and through this MOU, you monitor what pace or what is happening. Institutions can also work with the corporate through a 15-point program. And I can tell you this because we have been following it very regularly. What are they? Organizing guest lectures, enlightenment lectures, one-day industrial visits, innovative techniques in teaching, start of innovative and niche-based industries. Very important, we have made it a rule that all students must participate in cultural and sports activity. Knowledge of ethical values, character building are very important. Something like what we had in school, sir. If you remember, guys, if you remember, we had in school a subject called moral science. On the similar lines, if you can have this subject again, I think that will be a big, big help. 1 week visit, national and international. And very important, very, very important, compulsory use of ICTs. No more whiteboard and blackboard. This, we have to use computers. A student must be fully aware and fully knowledgeable in the use of Word documents, Excel document, and PowerPoint. These 3 documents are extremely, extremely important. Cooperation with industry, as I said, in various areas. Creation of e-cells. Last but most important, the HEIs must themselves be reorganized. And what we have done, sir, we have created an industry institute interaction cell, where this cell is responsible for alumni interaction, very important, because in many institutions, the earlier alumni are right on the top and they can be of great use. Guest lectures, placements, seminars, conferences, etc. Now, for all this to happen, we need an MOU, because if we don't have an MOU, you cannot work. Yeah, and this MOU is not just to be on the paper, but it has to be frequently monitored and work together. And again, I can only tell you at the cost of repetitions. Corporates and HEIs can only help you, but the student himself has to learn to develop himself. We can only take the student to the pond, but how much to drink, when to drink, how to drink, these are all dependent on the student. Unless the student does this by himself, he can never, never succeed. And then he can only say that jobs are not available, corporates are not giving jobs. Let me tell you, jobs are available today. A good institution and a good student always gets the job. Even a mediocre student gets a job, but a below mediocre student does not get a job. For this, you need 2 things: fundamental knowledge, application knowledge, skill-based knowledge, and you must demonstrate the habit of learning. That's all I have to say, sir. Thank you very much, and God bless all of you.
Thank you very much, Professor. Thank you very much, Professor, Doctor. One moment, please. One moment. Just. Thank you very much, Professor Dr. R. Gopal, for giving your views, and you have mentioned very clearly that the responsibility lies with the student. One can bring them to the pond of water, how much water, when to drink, what to drink, how much time it will take. It all depends on the student. And according to Professor Gopal, jobs are available, but they are for those who are really good students or for the good institutions. Even he says for mediocre also the jobs are there, but below average, the jobs are not there. And then they cry the unemployment situation in India. He says the employability is increasing in many sectors like pharma sectors, e-commerce, etc., etc. He also mentioned that to be more employable, if you have to be employable, you require lots of qualities. One is the skill, soft skill. Then he says the good English. because without that, you will not be able to get a good job. And that is one. Secondly, he says, you have to change your attitude. In India, according to Professor Gopal, our attitude is always to blame others, pass the bucks on others. While it should not be like this. You should come, if you have a problem, you must come with the problem, but with a solution of problem also. Whether the solution is good, correct or not, that is a different aspect. But you must think what is going to be the solution of this. He says in India, there are no research here, which is required very badly. He says even the institution, the educational institutions and the corporates should sign an MOU where the corporates come and give the visiting lecture so that the students will be benefited and they know what the corporates require. And he emphasized that no more black or white boards in the final year or with the training. They should be know how to use the modern technologies, computers, laptops, etc., etc. Thank you very much, Professor Dr. R. Gopal. I'm sure those youth who are listening to this program are quite enlightening with your thoughts, because what you have given them a guidance which is going to be beneficial for them. Thank you very much. Now I would like to invite my next panelist guest, and he is Dr. Janeshwar Pai Marur. Dr. Janeshwar Pai Marur is MBA, MPhil, PhD. He is in the Department of Humanities, NMAM Institute of Technology, NITTE. He has qualified KSET management examinations conducted by University of Mysore in 2030. He has over 18 years of industry, teaching and research experience. He has worked as lecturer at SDM College of Business Management and Postgraduate Center for Management Studies and Research, Mangalore from 2003 to 2006. He has worked with JP Morgan Chase Bank in India and Newark, Delaware, USA corporate office from 2006 to 2012. His teaching and research areas include behavioral and corporate finance, enterprise risk management, and corporate taxation, and has a strong exposure in practical knowledge of various statistical packages such as SPSS, MATLAB, etc. He has published research papers in national and international journals and also presented research papers in various national and international conferences, seminars, and workshops. He is a life member of Indian Institute of Banking and Finance, IIBF, Mumbai, Management Teachers Consortium Global, MTC Global, Bangalore, International Association of Academicians and Researchers, INAR, Pune, Indian Academicians and Researchers Association, IARA, Assam, and Federation of Indian Professional Trainers, FIPT, New Delhi. Welcome, Dr. Janeshwar Pai Marur on our show. Dr. Pai, you have heard what Professor Gopal has mentioned, and he has given a roadmap for those who would like to be employable, or those who would like to increase their capacity or capability to become more employable. Now, we would like to know from you how to become employable. Dr. Janeshwar Pai Marur, please.
Respected Lal Goel sir, elite academicians and panelists, Sir Dr. R. Gopal, Mr. Puneet Jaiswal, and dear viewers. I'm extremely happy to be part of today's discussion on the topic, rather a global issue, how to become employable. Talking about how to become employable will be one-sided if we do not talk about the current unemployment landscape. Let me quote a very renowned British economist and social reformer, William Henry Beveridge. Dr. Beveridge rightly said, unemployment is like a headache or a high temperature, very unpleasant and exhausting, but not carrying in itself any explanation of its cause. See, unemployment is a very big issue facing Indian youth. Although it is said that unemployment is an integral part of normal capitalist system, India seems to have a biggest pools of unemployed people in the world. Prolonged unemployment leads to erosion of skills, robbing, the economy of otherwise useful talents. Prolonged unemployment could lead to a greater skepticism and pessimism about the value of education and training, and thereby causing a threat detrimental to the growth of higher education institutions in the economy. Last year, that is in 2020, India's GDP contracted by 23.9% as the lockdowns brought key industries to a halt and rendered millions of people jobless. As Dr. Gopal rightly said, according to the data published by the Center for Monitoring Indian Economy, CMI, India's overall unemployment rate was 6% in 2017-18. Good, it fell down to 5.8% in 2018-19. And we are happy that it plummeted to 4.8% in 2019-20. But our unemployment rate stood at a record double digit, 11.9% in May 2021. That's alarming. Latest CMI data reveals that urban 20 to 24-year-old have one of the highest rates of unemployment, with 37.9% currently out of their jobs. This situation has been made more imminent by the catastrophic second wave during the April-May 2021. Studies have shown that the job losses and the economic malaise show no sign of slowing as the impact of pandemic continues to batter almost every sector. It is unfortunate that there is lack of sufficient jobs for young graduates, with nearly 10 million youth entering India's job market annually or every year. I'm afraid the downturn does not bode well for their economic future. I would say the job market has been dismal for the new job seekers. Again, quoting CMI, in July 2021, only 400 million Indians were employed. It can be easily estimated that somewhere between 40 to 45 million people right now are unemployed in India. This number does not capture the true extent of unemployment in our country. Given India's poor level of economic growth or development, high cost of living, and the lack of social security measures, relatively very few people can afford to stay unemployed. So there is bound to be a significant prevalence of, I'm tossing a new term, disguised unemployment, where people are working below their potential. I see a flaw in the definition itself. People are termed unemployed if they are looking for a job and cannot find one. It does not talk much about the disguised unemployment. According to India Skill Report 2021, graduating students will have more troubles finding employment in 2021 than in 2020. That's very bad. Survey conducted by ASSOCHAM on employability have depicted a very discouraging scenario. As per this study, 97% of the graduating students in programs like BTech, MBA, and MCA want core function job. 3% of them have suitable skills to be employed, and only 7% may handle the core function job. See the difference. These statistics indicate that 93% of Indian graduates possesses professional degrees at higher level but lack employment skills. If we look at the data at a little more closer level, you will find that it is those who do not have specific skill set are the ones likely to be unemployed. So not everybody will be unemployed. So being employable is the trick of the hour, and that's what is our topic. Goel sir, when he introduced the topic, rightly said, having a basic degree is not just suffice. Degree with a good percentage is just a gate pass to employment opportunities. Employers are looking for more than just a degree. Employers want to hire candidates who can actually do their job very well, not just well, very well. Let me share 7 pointers, like the Saptarshis, that could get more, could get you more noticed by the prospective employer. First one, the most important aspect of being employable is to stay updated with everything. Be it industry tidings, current affairs, general knowledge, you name it, you got to be updated. With the advent of technology, the pace of change in almost every industry has increased, and we all know that. There are significant new trends and opportunities that are created in every industry, and staying with them in a great way is a great way to stay relevant in the job market. I would say keep your resume. Since we have a good number of youth viewers, I would say please keep your resume up to date. It is better to prepare a tidy resume and keep adding to it every time you complete an additional responsibility or take up something new task. Nowadays, resumes contain a lot of additional information. So do remember to add your social media handle links to your CV, which is missed out most of the times. Point number 2, which I would like to tell, is network with people. See, I say that working is important. Networking is very important. Networking is not only about adding contacts, but it's also about planting relations. It's relations and contacts. If you are still in college, it's a good idea to be friendly with everyone, have no enemies, or so-called as the Ajata Shatrus. Being part of certain clubs can help you network better. Toastmasters, Rotary, JCI are some of the clubs that can help you build strong contacts. Talking to lots of people, I would say loads of people, introduces you to different cultures and languages. Discussing their ideas and plans can be a foundation for your concrete structure for your own plans. Point number 3 that I would like to tell is participate in college activities. Participating in college activities is a step towards answering the question of how to become employable. Take part in college activities whether they are academically inclined or cultural events. Involve yourself in teamwork. The outcome of such involvement is twofold. Firstly, your network expands, and secondly, you build great confidence. You tend to overcome stage fear at a very young.
I think we have lost Dr. Gopal. Can you hear Dr. Pai? He's unmute.
No, sir, I can't hear him. I think he's lost his internet.
Yeah. I think I was thinking that my connection has gone down, but his connection.
I believe he's back. I believe he's back.
Sir, did I lose his connection?
Yeah, you lost the connection. So you lost 2 minutes. Yes, please.
2 minutes. Okay. The point which I was making was there was a power cut here. I'm sorry. Be social media active. The world is connected. We talk about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Don't be left out. Social media handles have a power to change how the world looks at you. It also has a humongous influence on having a profile on LinkedIn or a Twitter is useful tool to let people know that you're there. Often employers or recruiters visit such sites to connect with appropriate profiles. Update your profiles often with even the smallest course or a smallest achievement or work you have completed. Point number 5 that I would like to toss is volunteer. It may sound a bizarre viewpoint, but it makes a world of difference. Volunteering at places shows that you are willing to lend a helping hand. At an employer who knows that that you have volunteered at institution is aware that you have the drive to do what it takes even without an incentives or a money. These small points that can give a long way in making you more employable. So when you volunteer in any organization next time, do not forget to add it to your resume. Point number 6, I would like to say is surround yourself with passionate and intelligent people. Henry Ford once said, "I'm not the smartest, but I surround myself with competent people." This talks about what I'm talking about. Studies say that person is an average of his or her friends. It means if your friends are highly motivated, successful and hardworking people, chances are high that you are also the one, someone like them. If your friends are lazy, there is a big probability that you are also lazy. This is because we human beings by nature are influenced by our surroundings a lot. So if you can change your surroundings, you can change yourself. I'm not telling you to throw away your old jigri dos. Maybe you have to find few new friends who are interested in your field. It is important to spend quality time with intelligent people who can elevate your thinking standards. For students, viewers in this particular platform today, one way to do this is you can delve into meetings, workshops, or competitions that are specific to your field. If you want to be a programmer or a software engineer, you could go to a coding workshop where you can meet and make friends with people who are interested in coding. You can reach out to thought leaders through LinkedIn, which I always tell my students at MBA level. Point number 7, the last point of Saptarshis, which I'm going to say is spend time improving your technical skills and soft skills. Sharpen one skill and make it your sword. Establish what you are great at and invest time into becoming brilliant at it. If you can show employers that you are not only an expert in a specific area, but you can also corner the market by being their expert, you will move from being a decent prospect to a must-have part of the company. For student viewers, I would say spend about 15 minutes each day learning about particular skills through books, podcasts, classes, etc., and put those learning to your daily life. Soft skills like communication skills, leadership skills, problem-solving skills, interpersonal skills are
I think we have, sorry. Yeah, please go ahead.
Are touted as highly essential by employers in potential employees. Such skills can be developed through personality development courses or participating in extracurricular activities like debates, extempores, research projects, etc. I'm convinced that we academicians at higher education system need to overhaul and move the needle for a greater employment of our student community. It's high time that higher education institution step up on the quality of education, build a very strong industry institute interface, as like Dr. Gopal said, take up research and consultancy projects led by both students and the faculty to make students employable and solve the problem of unemployment at the grassroots level. But the sad plight of Indian education system is that it focuses too much on examinations and not learning. The spoon feeding that ensures more and more students pass from grade to grade without any actual technical knowledge or lateral thinking ability is the real culprit. The lack of skill-based education, both at schools and colleges, have added more fuel to the fire. Our education system is primarily concerned with the rote memory and written examinations more than practice-based skills. For these reasons, after completion of graduation, while facing interview, students find themselves lacking confidence and the skills. So to conclude, I would say, Lal Goel sir, Today, many of our Garden Fresh students are living in their own dream world. They think they will get high salaried jobs as soon as they finish their graduation. They mostly interact with people who are also unemployed, and they have a wrong or a pseudo perception of the job market. See, NASCOM in its report, Reimagining Me, Reimagining the Future of Me, has outlined a short rubric reflective of the millennial outlook and the modern VUCA world. What this entails is that each candidate must bring with him or her learnability, diversity of thought, inclusivity of behavior, comprehension of design, and flexibility. I urge all young friends in today's media conference to strongly believe in yourself, not to be ignorant. Face the facts, overcome the challenges, and learn to become employable. Remember that a positive attitude and hard work can land you anything you want. So let us not stop. Let us not stop today from dreaming big, staying positive, and working hard. Thank you so much, sir, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Dr. Pai, for giving your views. And Dr. Pai mentioned very clearly that unemployability is like headache. And he says there are lack of sufficient jobs, whatsoever the reports are saying or not saying, but there are no proper jobs are available in India. And he has coined a new term today, and he says it's a disguised unemployment. And he says, according to him, the 93% of the students lack employability. And he has coined 7 points. He says there's 7 points which he has described in detail. I will need not to go again, but he says if a student will follow few of them or all of them, definitely the employability factor will be there. He also criticized, or he has given his views about the education system in India. He has also mentioned about the corporate's role in India. And he says everyone has to take responsibility to come forward and see to it that unemployability should go. Thank you very much, Dr. Janeshwar Pai Marur, for giving your forthright views. I'm sure, again, the youth who are watching this show are getting lots of information and knowledge by which has been imparted by our both the speakers, Professor Dr. R. Gopal as well as Dr. Janeshwar Pai Marur. Thank you very much, Dr. Marur, for giving your views. Now, I would like to invite my next panelist guest, and he is Mr. Puneeth Jaiswal. Mr. Puneeth Jaiswal is the Territory Manager of Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand of Ganebo India Private Limited, a Swedish MNC, which headquarters at Gothenburg, Sweden. An aggressive sales manager, Mr. Puneeth Jaiswal holds a master's degree in marketing management with a total experience of over 14 years. His expertise is in handling channel and sales management and as a professional trainer of various products and solutions across fire safety, petrochemical and automobile industry. Currently working as a territory manager, Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand for a Swedish MNC Ganebo India Private Limited. He underwent various trainings such as channel management by Doer Training and Consulting, communication to lead by Dale Carnegie Training, and diversity and inclusion by Cornell University. As a trainer, Mr. Puneeth Jaiswal has conducted more than 50 technical seminars and fire demo in private sector industries and public sector undertakings since the new standard IS 15683 implemented in 2011. He has given technical seminar and fire demo to Reserve Bank of India, State Bank of India, Canara Bank, Mahindra and Mahindra, Nestle Limited, Taj Group Hotels, Greenfly Industries, Maruti Suzuki, Hero Motors Corp, Reckitt, Bankster, TCS, Honda Motorcycles and Scooters India, and many other major groups. Welcome, Mr. Puneeth Jaiswal on our show. Mr. Puneeth Jaiswal, you have heard what Professor Dr. R. Gopal as well as what Dr. Pai has mentioned. And both have given their guru mantra, I must say, to the youth that how they can become more employable. Both have mentioned about the role, important role to be played by the corporates for making more employability, creating more employability in the youth. Now, you being associated with the corporate yourself, and you are giving the training to those who are employed at your place, or those who are not employed at your place, but they are employed in many, many good corporates, top corporates in India. You have seen them while you are interacting with them. So we would like to know from you your views on the how to become employable. Mr. Puneet Jaiswal, please.
Good morning to all the panelists available here. Mr. Lal Gopal, Mr. Lal Goel, Dr. R. Gopal, Dr. Naresh Pai. I thank you all for allowing me to be the part of this wonderful discussion. I would speak upon what employers look forward to and how one can become more employable by upgrading and generating some skills. As of now, entry-level job market is very competitive. Universities do help you in developing some of the skills that employers are looking for. I totally agree with Dr. R. Gopal, what he said, that universities can take a student to the pond, but drinking from the pond precisely depends upon the students. Also, some wonderful point raised by Mr. Janeshwar Pai. I would be totally agreeing to it, like working on CV or your communication skills and networking will be a great help to you. I'll put some point what an employers look forward to. See, one become more employable when you have more to offer to an employer. It is not a matter of becoming prettier or being better in telling stories or knowing more about the professional soccer. Employer exists mainly for one reason. They make money. If you have more skills or knowledge that will help them to make more money, you will be readily hired. This does not mean that going longer to university through that may help. And it will certainly help if you earn higher grade in your universities and take part in leadership roles in more campus activities. One become more employable by developing your own personalities. This is quite important. I'm not speaking on becoming more affordable or more poised or more worldly. Though, of course, these are helpful, but by developing a better analytical mind, broadening your interest and your range of practical knowledge, and developing a great sense of wanting to be in control and making things happen. Possibly, the most important of these is developing greater drive and determination. Your drive, your motivation, your achieve and to succeed is whatever efforts you are engaged in. Creating within yourself more needs you have to have goal, greater capacity to set your own goals. What company want to see achievement as well as qualifications along with employability skills. I'll put up some tips as like Dr. Generation said, which will help one become more employable and stand away from the crowd. The most important ability and the skills is ability to listen. This is an important interpersonal skill that helps one to stay in the business. In other words, no one would like to be work with someone who is always pushing things around and not likable. In case you have the natural tendency of understanding others' issue, the able to empathize with them, then you are halfway through. The current tendency of industry has shifted towards a new different word, that is empathy. One who has empathized with his colleagues, his peers, is always considered to be in the industry, in the company. Second, your tolerance to the multicultural behavior. Currently, we are working in an industry which is made majorly of metropolitan people or diversified people. So you are working in an industry where is a multicultural behavior you observe. As economy and business are emerging with different countries, there is more chance of multicultural intermingling. Hence, diversity has become a part of modern workplace. You need to take care of the languages you use. The sign that seems hilarious would create misunderstanding at working cultures. Hence, learn to adapt yourself for cultural ethnicity that may need to tackle. Third, I would also want to say that you should know how to learn. What does everyone learn in college or school? It's just how to learn a topic. A person challenge in career is adapting to change within the business environment. Individual constitute a business. Hence, it is very vital, important role for anyone who reads and tends to make the adaptation in self. So be ready to learn whatever possible to suit yourself to needs of the business. As rightly said by Dr. Gopal as well as Dr. Janaresh, your communication skills. You have to sharpen your verbal communication skills, as it clearly says that verbal communication is most important part of being employable. It is better to recap on the communication skills and sharpen them too. We have also seen that the culture has changed, like how you can change or upgrade your skills. Try out talking to your friends. Most of the time, we try to text. I'll appreciate this is best way to improve your word skill and also able to express what is in our mind. Even reading books during the leisure time to the entry level employees is always important. This always give a boost to your vocabulary, your language skills, and new techniques have been given. Apart from that, there's a most important skill which is required nowadays. That is a teamwork skills. Teamwork skill or this is an evident in your workplace. See, you would have experienced this during your school days and college days as well. Be in a group activity, seminar or workshop. You're forced to work in group. Your role would have been a team player and a team leader. Teamwork requires to be a very cooperative, tolerant, contribute ideas to the team, share the responsibility, be assertive, accepting and learn. These are some skills you have to have developed when you are working in a team. Working confidently within the group is also a very important point. And know your plans. You should always know your plans in what you are growing. I remember during my college time when I was doing my MBA, my faculty, my dean, Dr. R. Gopal, asked to the class that how many students want to go into sales? And I believe during your college times, everyone has that lucrative idea that I want to go into market research, I want to go into advertising, I want to go into some lucrative field. Very few people, and I was one among them, who raised his hand and said, I want to go into sales. So you have to have very clear idea why sales. For my interest, I always love to travel, to speak, to open up, to talk with people. I know my set of skills in what field I can go and I can grow. So it's very important. You should know what plans you have. You have to do your homework properly. You have to know your set of skills in which field you can grow. That is very important. Apart from that, to achieve your goals, you would need to create a step of achieving that. Continuously strive for your persistence. To be professional in any job, the main skills is to put up quality to your work. A person who has a tendency to go to that extra mile will always get the best output, are the most employable. You need to learn them if you don't have this attitude. Lastly, I'll say that it's most important to set up a decision-making skills. There is a stage in everyone's life where you need to take a decision, whether it's a career or selecting a dress or purchasing a house. But when it comes to workplace, decisions are made based on time, based on cost, based on quality. If you perceive experience shows that your decisions are not apt, they make it a habit involving basic aspects, clarify the problems, the collecting data and making decisions, shortlist the options, finally giving a decision after analyzing at all advantages and disadvantages. The last one I would like to say, walk through your leadership ability. There is many types of leaders who are broadly classified to two broad categories, people oriented and task oriented. Besides that, there are certain class of leaders, some authoritative and some participative, depending upon the type of work that need to be done. To know what type of skill you need to nurture, it's better to get involved in leading a project work, captaining a sport team, chairing a student committee, getting hand on into this work, and would help you to learn from mistake to find out the missing. Some of the also basic traits that one have to focus on: the delegation of the functions, encouraging staff to be honest at your workplace, being self-confident is very important. Though there may be many skills that are considered more employable, the above are the most important, wherein I might skip some skills which have been precisely taken care by and discussed by Dr. Jay Naresh. These all were the points which I would like to put up for one to how to become more employable. And I would like to thank Dr. Goel, Dr. Gopal, Dr. Jay Naresh to make me to part of this panel discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Puneet Jaiswal, for giving your perspective from the side of the corporate, because you are working in a corporate and you are seeing what the corporate requires. And we very, very clearly outlined few of the things which the corporate wants from the employee. And he says how the employee can be helpful for the employer. That is the first criteria. And he has given some tips. He says you should be a very good listener. If you are not a good listener, it is not possible. He also mentioned about empathy, tolerance, how to learn, adaptation, communication skills, reading books, teamwork skills, know your plans, decision-making skills, and lastly, he said about the leadership ability. So he has given those points. He says that if these points are there in you, or if you can develop these points, definitely the corporates want such type of person in their fold. And what he has mentioned is very, very clear, because being a corporate person himself, as well as he's doing lots of seminars with the top corporates, he knows what the corporate's mind is today. Thank you very much, Mr. Puneet Jaiswal, for giving your views. I'm sure today's media conference is giving so many things without any charge to all our viewers, and especially the youth. So youth can get benefited from these experts because they have given their views. Now, I would like to ask the question. My first question goes to Professor Dr. R. Gopal. Professor Dr. R. Gopal, you have mentioned about the employability, and you said lack of employability, which almost everyone has mentioned. What we are seeing is that today the companies are conducting, the corporates are conducting campus interview. They just come for a day or two, they choose and they take. Why not? They make a point that if they feel that this university is a good university, or this college is a good college, at least 3 months, they must come there and give the training, or the college or university give the training, and that training should be for the employability for a particular industry. As Mr. Puneet Jaiswal mentioned about that, how the corporates want that, how you can help. Now, these qualities, apart from the education, like we are doing the internship in medicine, we are doing lots of field training. Why not training only at university level, where not as a guest speaker, rather one of their top people, those who are trained or who knows how to train, they can come there, spend some time with those whom they can see that they are the potential, or then only they select. So at least 3 months, the corporate should be there, not for a day or two, just pick and choose and go back. What you say about this, Professor Dr. Gopal?
Also, I perfectly agree with you. But then the question is, do the corporates have time for all of this? Because they are busy in their own world, increasing productivity, making money for the society, and all of these things. Now, what we have a system is we call the corporate people to come to the college, and we request them to be a visiting faculty, not a guest lecturer. A guest lecture comes once in a day, for 3 hours or something. But I tell them to come as a visiting faculty, be with the students, take one subject. Just take one subject. Let's say IPR. You take a subject called IPR, and talk to the students on the various aspects of IPR, etc., for a complete session. Now, what is the advantage of this? The student comes to know the industry personnel very well. The industry personnel comes to know the students very well. There are lots of interactions which take place when the faculties, when I call them now corporate faculties, when the corporate faculties come to the college and talk to the student, there's a lot of interactions, there's a lot of knowledge which is interchange, and therefore then the bonding takes place. The second aspect, many a time what happens is the corporate does not have the time to come. So we have what is called as a summer internship. Now, what is the summer internship? During the month of April, May, June, for these 3 months, we ask the students to go to the corporates and work out there. The corporates give them a project and they work on the project, interact with the project, interact with the various levels of corporates, and then try to bring about, understand how the corporates work, corporate understands how this guy works, and there's a lot of interaction which takes place. The second aspect is that we have something called the live projects. That means every semester, the student goes to the corporate for 2 days in a week, sits down, meets all the people out there, and then talks to them, does some projects which are required for them. And in this way, there's a lot of interaction between them. And why do I do this? So one corporate coming to attending many students, because we have many students going to many corporates. And in the bargain, we get what is called the pre-placement offers, where if the corporate likes you, it gives you an offer and says, okay, I will take you from the month of so. This is a much better way because corporates do not have time. They do not have time. I can bet you on this. And my own personal experience has been that I always have a backup. I always have a backup. When I call a corporate as a visiting faculty or a guest lecturer, I have a backup with me. Even when I call them for a seminar, the seminar is planned 3 months in advance, 6 months in advance. But I have a backup. In case this corporate fails, then somebody else must come up immediately. Why? Because there are lots and lots of emergencies which take place in the corporate world. And I've been from the corporate world, I know there are plenty of it. Every day is a firefighting work for me. And if that is the case, then how do I do? I can plan out, but then something comes up, I can't help it. So it is always better for the student to go to the corporates, work with the corporates, and I still request all the corporates to come to the college, talk to them, understand them and all that. And in this way, you get a lot of, understanding between and employability increases tremendously.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Gopal, for giving your views on this. Now my question goes to Dr. Pai. Dr. Pai, we blame youth, we blame students. Don't you think the blame lies with the educational institutions? Today, the educational institutions become like a factory. They are just producing a product, a student, so just coming in a supply chain, making them, giving the degree and throwing them in the market. Why not? Why not? They also give the training themselves how to become employable, like what you have mentioned, Dr. Gopal has mentioned, Mr. Punit Jaiswal has mentioned, that apart from your educational knowledge, you require soft skills, you require lots of other things which a corporate requires. Why not give that training, change the curriculum, make it compulsory, and see to it that the student whosoever is leaving the campus is employable? What you say about this, Dr. Madhu?
Yes, sir. The higher education institutions, I would say, are equally accountable in the entire process. So I think we have to make sure that we just don't sign MOU for meeting the regulatory requirements, but have something which is really going to work. Because students are our major stakeholders, and NEP also proposes of having more and more of skill-based or vocational courses as a part of the academic programs. So I think what academicians need to do is do away with the documentation requirement and have real-time consultancy projects, real-time research projects, and involve extensively industry people in the various academic activities, so that they also contribute in the entire process. So nothing should be left only for meeting the regulatory requirements. It should be done by heart. So then only the institution should look at the long-term sustenance of the students and their survival. Then only things work in long terms.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Pai. Now my question goes to Mr. Puneet Jaiswal. Again, I will say, why we are blaming youth? Why even blaming the educational institutions? The trend of the corporate in India is to choose on a very, very low package the students. And that's why to get the low package, they are not seeing what are the soft skill of that particular is a student who is going to be your employer. Number one. Number two, when the government is asking the CSR fund is there with all the corporates, and now this election bonds are there. When the corporates have so much money to invest few thousands crores for the elections, why not they are investing in the employability of a student, so that the unemployment can go, instead of blaming the government, or instead of everything is going on that there is no employability in India. As Professor Gopal says, there are employability, only the question is the lack of employability is there. There are the jobs are available, but the employability is not there. Why corporates themselves ultimately? Because one of the research says that 20% who are employable, ultimately after 1 year, only 6 or 7% become retained. So when only 7% out of 100 are employable in India, who's responsible? Who is the sufferer? I think the sufferer is the corporates. You see the conditions in USA, as Professor Gopal mentioned, the way they invest the money in the universities, they invest the money for the stakeholders, that is the students, youth. Why the corporates in India are shying away? They are ready to fund the political parties. Why they are not funding where this is required? I am sure that this is lacking out of the corporate. What you say about this, Mr. Puneet Jaiswal?
So see, there are, I believe, 2 to 3 different aspects what have combinedly put up this question. The first point, what you have said, that why not the students or the new passing out students are getting good packages, or there are a lot of jobs, but why they are not on the jobs? Sir, there is a different mindset altogether in students as well. See, it's very important as of now, being into this competitive world where there's a scarcity of jobs. Though jobs are there, but everyone thrives for a very good job and a very good package. A person who is passing out from a college should always have one set of thought process in his mind, that he has to grab a job. Package, I believe a starting package for someone would be 8 lakhs, 10 lakhs per annum. For someone, it could be 3 lakhs and 4 lakhs per annum. But archiving for the sky is not only the thing. First of all, you should have a critical bit of experience also. See, on the job training is always there in many organizations, but the organization also expect a professionalism that always comes when you are on the job. Not all organizations going to give you a package of 8 lakhs, 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs. There are small organizations as well, or the entry-level job salaries are less. So the student should also have to understand one thing, that likewise in college grades, if a student is topper, then out of 360 students, not all are achieving the first position. So likewise industry, all the 360 students would not get a package of 25 lakhs. Likewise, a student holds a rank at 20th position, 50th position in a university ranking. Likewise, these are jobs also. It doesn't matter that initial starting phase is at 3 lakhs or 4 lakhs. Down the line, 2 years, 3 years after the experience, you switch, you move to a different organization with a different designation, with a different packages, and you also groom yourself. Point number one. Point number two, you spoke about the industries have lot of money, the corporates have lot of money to put up into the political scenario, to boost the politicians and into the CSR activities. And why not directly on the students or the employability areas? Sir, a corporate works on many different aspects. Putting up with a political connection might always grow the industries in a different aspect. Regulatories, they have to maintain the regulatories, they have to maintain the licenses, they have to take care of the going flow with the wind, like with the political parties. But the CSR activities, correct. The CSR activities are the social responsibilities toward the society that they do. Still, there are many corporates who work on the skill set based activities, like Mahindra and Mahindra have started the skill based programs. HUL has got a part of skill based programs. The student has to nurture their skills and they have to learn. It's always required for a student to have certain set of skills in them. This is what I would like to say, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Jaiswal. So viewers, you have seen today the experts have given their opinion and they have given very candidly, they have mentioned very clearly, jobs are there. You have to become employable. But to become an employable, you must not think that the package which media comes sometimes shows that the Facebook has given a package of 2 crores or 3 crores, and you will be not thinking, first you join the job. See whether you are skilled or not. If you are skilled, money is not the thing is you should be employable. Secondly, to get that, become an employable, so many tips have been given today in our program. And I'm sure those youth, if they will follow even 50% of that, they will be employable. There is no dearth of jobs. There is no, but one should not feel that this job only I will get that job, that designation initially, then only I will join. This is wrong. And you must, when you are studying in the university or a higher education, you must have a clear vision what you want to become, study it properly, see what are the skills, what that particular industry requires you, because industry or the corporates wants you. Only thing is you have to show something, as one of the panelists says, that unless you will not prove yourself worth to the industry, how the industry is going to take you. After all, they are investing lots of money on you. So basically, educationists, institutions, they are trying their best. As one of our panelists, Professor Gopal says, they can bring you to the pond. It's up to you how much water and how to drink. But if you are not interested to drink, and then they blame the government and they blame the society, unemployability and the data are increasing, it is because we are responsible. The civil society is responsible. We should not put pressure on our children or the students that they must get the job which is high standard. That is also one of the reasons that unemployability is there. The parents should also understand, if a child, if their own child is getting a job which according to them is of not standard, let them do the job. Because once the child will get that experience, he will be more acceptable by the industry, and then it will be a long-lasting relationship, not for few times only, some time only. Thank you very much. And today's program has been live telecasted by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV India, News Gaon Se, Samvad Sarokar News, Bharat Post News, as well as was shown live on Facebook and YouTube. And in our endeavor to bring to you and introduce you someone who has become a role model in a very short span of time on their life is time only. Today's my chief guest is Miss Sunaina Singh, CEO, Organ India, New Delhi, how her life is inspirational for many and how many lives she has could save because she is working as CEO of a very, very noble charitable NGO, that is Organ India, for promoting and creating awareness about the organ donation. So she will be my chief guest in my program कल आज और कल लाल गोयल के संग at 4:30 p.m. today. So please do watch the program. Thank you very much, Professor Dr. R. Gopal. Thank you very much, Dr. Janeshwar Pai Marur, and thank you very much, Mr. Puneet Jaiswal, for enlightening all the youths, especially I will say, and the views which you have given. If they will accept, I'm sure they will. If they will just follow those, they will be reaching on top. And then definitely media conference with Lal Goel proudly says at least they could change some of their life and makes them something. Thank you very much. And thank you all the viewers for watching our show. Thank you.